subscription order. Awake and unwind. Support local and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Hey, and we are back. We got one more segment with the legend. Got to talk a little bit about the Detroit Pistons. They do have a preseason game tonight, and we're going to get into some of that news. But first, you guys already know what we got to do. Got to get that drum roll going for the legend. Let's rock. Hey, yo! Shout out and welcome to the legend, Detroit News, Rod Beard. Brother, hey, listen, take it away with Rod's thoughts. Then we got a little bit of news we'll get through. Talk about JB Bickerstaff's culture. And then we got Swish or Brick today.
Break?
It's based on the ESPN. It's based on the ESPN. Definitely some things that you can look forward to, and that was going to be one of the things we talked about first was just kind of the preseason takeaway so far, 2-2 start. Tonight they play JB Bickerstaff's old team in the Cleveland Cavaliers. And for me personally, my biggest takeaway is that the energy looks different. This team, they look like they know where to be on the court. And instantly you saw when Tobias Harris was inserted, instantly what we wanted to see you saw. Jaden Ivey, Cunningham, Tobias Harris, each 15 points or over. And they were absolute dogs in the game where KD did play. I know Devin Booker didn't play, but KD did, and Phoenix still ran with most of their regular roster. And you saw the Pistons have some good success with that. That's what you want to see. Obviously, with a lot of people taking the under, according to Caesar Sportsbook, with that 28.5 wins. I'm still going to be a little bit more bullish about the Pistons. I know we gave our preseason takeaways yesterday, but was there anything else you wanted to add before we move on?
I just wanted to ask, is there an individual player that has impressed you the most in this preseason in terms of what they did in the preseason translating to the regular season?
I think it's Jaden Ivey is showing that he has some control and he's just ready to be out there and ball. The timing is the key for me, that he moves so fast. Maybe his brain moves a little bit faster than his legs. But when you get those two things in sync, that he can be a very, very good player. And if your starting position is in question, that's the type of performance that you want to come out and show in the preseason, is that you're ready to take on a leadership role and a starting role in this lineup.
Yep. And he's been, to me, the most consistent player throughout, and probably the best or the most impressive player throughout preseason for the Pistons. And it's a good thing, because I know there's only so much you want to take away from preseason, but like you said with the eye test, just comparing it to last season, Jaden Ivey looks like a completely different player to kick this thing off. Still the same heady mindset where he's going to try and rise above the noise. He's going to do, as a coach's son, that you hear all of the speech. Hey, you know what? My job is to go out there and do whatever my team asks of me. And he stayed ready. And beyond that, not just Cade, but Ivy also looks like he was in the weight room all summer too. And you see it out there on the court. I do believe that what we see right now is tangible. It will make its way over to the regular season. And before we get into kind of JB Bickerstaff and his Pistons culture, just a couple updates real quick. The Detroit Pistons and the Detroit City Clerk and Detroit Department of Elections, they've teamed up with the Rock the Vote, and Detroit votes to host Pistons Land What Up Though. It's October 19th. It is a free immersive event, so you guys want to get there. Make sure that you pre-register at pistonsland.com/registration today. You can go to pistonsland.com to learn a little bit more information. But October 19th from noon to 7, listen, Lil Baby, Skilla Baby, Babyface Ray, Peasy, other local and national artists are set to perform as well. I was there for the StockX event. I know you were as well, Rod. And the Pistons, they've done a great job with these types of events and really getting the community something cool to come out to. This event is supposed to be big time, more like kind of like a carnival feel. So I just wanted to make sure that I let you guys know about that. If you were planning to come down there, we're supposed to have some boots on the ground as well. But let's get into these new vibes. JB Bickerstaff. One of the first things, and we laughed about it last week, right? We put up last week's content, and somebody was like, "Whoa, music in the clips, music in the gym now." Last season, it felt like they were practicing in jail, and this year, I've heard the players talk about JB Bickerstaff being this kind of organized person who has easy to understand processes and instructions. And now we're getting a look at just exactly how his practices in this training camp and what type of identity he's trying to impart to this team. NBA Central, JB Bickerstaff plans to create a new culture in Detroit and says Pistons players are not allowed to wear hoodies during practice. just the last shred, and this is quote, just the last shred of the old school mentality. Just growing up with that, with my dad. You don't wear anything on your head during the game. You don't wear jewelry. You practice how you play. And then beyond that, the conditioning is something that has kind of, with Cade, Jalen, Duren, and others, I'm like, you know what? These guys got to get their conditioning up. If there's one just kind of across-the-board criticism. And that was something that's come out as well. About JB Bickerstaff, and Malik Beasley had some comments to say about this. Setting a standard of professionalism, discipline, conditioning. Beasley mentioned that Bickerstaff's conditioning drills at the start of training camp were noticeably difficult, further establishes a structure in which the rest of the players aren't looking solely to Cunningham for leadership. And Beasley said, quote, Bickerstaff says, the conversation I've had with Cade, the way that I see how his teammates follow him and the way that he engages his teammates, he wants to be amongst the elites and understands that winning matters in order to be respected by your peers in that way. And for me, to kind of hear the stuff that Beasley was talking about, it's always good to hear that your young players are engaging in this, and they're going to go out there and they're going to make sure they meet the hearing. Just want to be able to get your comments before we move on to the swish or brick.
Right, and we talk about coaches' sons as players, but coaches' sons as coaches, they're going to carry a lot of those same sorts of policies and beliefs into the way that they do things too. So I like the no hoodie policy, but it's also, when you look at what they're doing in the preseason already, the offense looks like it runs better. They're running sets where it's not just go stand in a corner and let Cade create and kick to you over there.
Yeah.
It is, we're running kind of curls. We're doing things. People are moving without the ball. There seems to be some ebb and flow to what they're doing. So that's nice to see too. But again, when you have something like that conditioning piece of it, that has to show up in the third and fourth quarters of games when they're a little bit tired, and you're still running those plays and you're still running the cuts to precision the way that you need to execute.
Yep. And I think one more takeaway. Shout out to Ross Correa, one of our chat members on Woodward Pistons as well. He said, I still think this team is going to need rim protection and size. And I'm looking forward to seeing if somebody on the squad is going to be able to step up, because I do believe that's something that has to be addressed. But we ready to get into swish or brick?
Swish or break.
Let's go. Swish or break.
Swish or break. All right, let me get some.
And let me set the stage. ESPN released their top 100 NBA players list. And Cade Cunningham, who has found himself kind of scattered throughout these lists, but usually in the top 50. I'm going to save some of the stats. I'm going to save some.
Yeah.
And I know you got some stuff as well. But he landed at number 67. I think I sent it to you, JB. If you have it, just kind of throw it up there so people can see it. I see Flannel shaking his head. I know KG's ready to get going as well. But we just set the stage real quick. They've released 51 through 100 so far. You're seeing some of the players here that are above Cade Cunningham. Like Draymond, Malik Monk,
Draymond is crazy.
Chris Middleton, KCP.
Big Draymond.
Okay. So I just wanted to set the stage. Well, I see you, Flannel. KG, let us begin. Look at Rod.
Yeah, it's a little nuts.
Let us begin.
But it's funny because I titled this Reasons Why ESPN's Top 100 list ain't got no love for the Pistons. And coming in at number 1, Cade Cunningham. Coming in at number 1, Cade Cunningham is a top 50 NBA player. Swish or brick?
Bro, top 30 in the NBA in scoring, top 11 in the NBA in assists. What are we doing here? Flannel, I'm going to go to you first. Well, you know what, Rod, we'll go to you first and then we'll go around. Swish or brick?
Is a top 50?
Is a top 50, rather than what ESPN is saying 67th in the league.
That is a Steph Curry swish.
All right, from 35 feet.
Steph Curry switch. That's it. Keep going.
Yes.
Move on.
Yes, this is Steph
Cade
Curry.
Cape?
This is Steph Curry in the Olympics. That type of Steph Curry swish. When I looked at 50 through 67, the only person who I think you could argue for is Alperen Şengün. Other than that, it's just filled with a lot of role players, like the KCPs and the Alex Carusos and the Josh Harts. Good players, but they're not Cade Cunningham. Yes, it's an absolute swish. And to further your numbers, I love these stats. It's the type of stuff where I just really, really enjoy bringing these to the people, for those who don't know. Last season, Cade Cunningham, despite what was around him, averaged more points per game than Paul George, more assists per game than Chris Paul, had a higher field goal percentage than Mikal Bridges, a higher three-point percentage than Damian Lillard, a higher free throw percentage than Kevin Durant, who I still don't think I've ever seen with my own eyes miss a free throw, and had fewer turnovers per game than Luka Doncic and LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo, for people who say that his turnover, his propensity for turning the ball over is a hindrance. If you got a lot of usage, you will always turn the ball over at a high clip, even if you're LeBron or Luka. So, yes, swish.
Let's rock. JB Smooth.
Did that say, hold on a second. Did that say Derek?
What was he saying? Hey, put the list back up, though. He was saying Derek.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get through the list.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can get Rob back on here.
We'll see if we can get Rob
because
back
this is a good swish or break.
Derek Lively.
What?
Wow.
He was a part of when we were talking about some potential scenarios. We'll get there with Stu, but
Wait, we got Rob back.
Kobe White?
you said
Kobe White.
Yeah,
Not
that's
Kobe
wild.
Bryant. Kobe White.
Kobe White, yes.
Kobe White.
he said Derek Lively.
Yeah.
Kobe White. Come on, man.
Kobe White.
Alex Caruso?
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm done.
Derek Lively. And Derek Lively, he's a good these are good players. Malik Monk, they serve roles on contending teams. I get that, but Cade Cunningham put up all-star numbers.
I see you in the chat, DNC.
I don't care if they're serving roles in the cafeteria. That's
4 years ago, I ran for prosecutor to keep our kids and our families safe, and we're making progress.
All caps. Derek Lively, 56. Hey, I don't get it, bro. Like, and that's why we all know the only thing that's gonna change things is them proving it out there on the court. And based on proving that on the court this year, I think that has something to do with our next question.
Yeah, and that's some BS. KCP over K. Come on, dog.
Yeah. That's right. You're a swisher, break.
Yeah. Swish with the three going down the court. Come on, now what we doing?
But
what we doing?
Turning around. I'm turning around 3 times,
right,
and running down the court before it even goes in.
That's nuts, man.
Goodness.
All right, coming in at number 2, Jaden Ivey and or Jalen Duren will be a top 100 player by season's end. Swisher break.
Some of those names that are especially on the bottom end of that list. Can you bring up that bottom end of the list?
Yeah.
Because it's going to have implications for, I think, our third or fourth question as well. Looking at some of those names, I do believe that one of those players could get there. Based on what we see out of preseason, I do believe that Jaden Ivey has the best opportunity. And you know what? Man, it's tough to say, but I'm going to go swish. Jaden Ivey will get there.
I am going to go swish as well for one of them. And look, you're pulled up the 100 through 86. I mean, with all due respect, would it shock you if Duren or Ivey is at the end of the season is objectively better than Jaime Jaquez or
I feel like both of them can
or
get there.
Jabari Smith, who's talented but's been a little bit of a disappointment, and same thing with Jalen Suggs. I think one of them will be objectively a top 100 player.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I kind of agree as well too. I mean, looking at this list right now, I don't see anywhere in the history that either one of these players couldn't be at least make the back end of this list. Like, I don't see a lot on this list that is just like impressed me at all. Like, definitely Duren and Ivey can honestly make this list easily. So this
I'm
is
seeing
switch for
some
me.
boths in the chat.
I don't know about that, but
I'm going with both on this. This is switch.
Okay.
You're
right, JB.
What up, though, Rod?
Again,
Oh,
on the Lord's Day of October 6th, you have Jonas Valanciunas or Jalen Duren.
Jalen Duren.
What are we doing?
Duren, easily.
Yeah,
Objectively, what are we? And the corpse of Mike Conley is going to be better. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Both can.
Go ahead, talk, Skip.
Y'all giving Rod a headache right now. Look at this.
It could very easily be both. Like, the corpse of Mike Conley is on this list.
It could be both. Goodness,
I mean,
KG, talk to me, bro.
y'all got Brook Lopez, Jalen Suggs. I mean, I just
Brook
what
Lopez.
we talking about?
Chill on Brook Lopez.
No, it's no disrespect to
the
him.
Pistons killer.
But if he's on the list at this stage of his career, then why can't Jalen Duren be on this list? Why can't
And this is about by season's end.
Yes.
I could see both of them on there.
Absolutely,
I mean,
you
if they're
could.
talking 3 top 100 players, then I'm hoping that reflects in your win column as well, especially when you got a vet like Tobias Harris. But goodness gracious, the results are going to play the biggest part in it.
Yeah, big facts. And I believe Ivy can get there as well, especially if he improves his scoring and efficiency. Why can't he be on that list? But are we ready for the third one?
That's right.
All right.
And we'll keep that up.
All right, coming in at number 3. Now pay attention to this section right here, right? Tobias Harris should be in the 80 to 90 range of the ESPN NBA Top 100. Swisher break.
Tobias Harris, you talking about a professional shooter, bro. And I'm looking at some of the players here. Exactly.
Jabari Smith.
I don't even.
Jabari Smith.
I don't even have to campaign.
He's 92. Michael
At least.
MPJ will definitely be higher on this list. He has a legitimate beat. Keegan Murray has a legitimate beat. They should be somewhere in the 70s, 80s. I don't know who 81 through 85 is, but it's not Tobias Harris, and maybe it should.
Man, and you know what? That's why for me,
We do have the 81,
I was gonna say, pull up
85,
the Lou Dorks.
CJ McCollum is
CJ
number 80.
McCollum?
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm
CJ
done.
McCollum or Tobias Harris?
And
Red
Jaime
Van
Jaquez.
Horn.
Alright.
You mean to tell me Tobias Harris can't beat out Jaime Jaquez?
Tobias got snubbed, bro. He got Flannel.
Does that say Brandon Kaczynski? Does that say Brandon?
Yes.
Oh no!
It does.
Oh my god!
Talk to me, Flannel.
I didn't even see Brandon Kaczynski.
Who made
All of us
this list?
overlooked it. Oh my god.
Unable to pan. I am
Ron's
unable
a
to
true
Yeah, this
editor,
list
bro.
is trash.
Who made this?
All right.
It's ESPN.
Gutter trash.
Let me.
Pistons of,
Oh my God.
Man,
Street trash.
I think we got a much better team than we think, bro. I'm sitting here looking at this right now like, wow. Talk to me, bro.
Let me add, just because the Brandon Kaczynski thing, it shocked me a little bit. I'm not saying that he's not valuable on the Warriors. I'm not saying that he wasn't one of the more impressive rookies in the NBA last year, especially given where he was drafted. But he's not better than Tobias Harris right now. No chance. No chance whatsoever. Tobias Harris is basically a walking 18 a game with efficient shooting. At worst, that's what he is. And that doesn't even include everything else he does.
Dude, I don't
And this
even
isn't
want
even
to
in
answer.
alphabetical order. That's the only other explanation. Like Zach LaVine is number 74.
It, man.
Talk to me, JB.
Dude, I don't even want to talk about this. Like, this list is just discredited completely. Like, come on. Tobias Harris should at least be somewhere in this range right now. This list is ridiculous. I can't even with this anymore, man.
Talk to me, KG.
Yeah, we already know my answer, man. We can just keep it. We can just keep going.
Yeah, hey, you know what? What up, Rod?
If Cade is 67, you got Brandon Miller at 68 and Jalen Green at 69? That's what we're doing?
Right.
Okay, go ahead. KG, go ahead.
Yeah, right.
It is some. This list is very weird. I mean, because with what Brandon Miller has been doing for the Hornets, I don't even want to give it credit, especially if it's a player that we could have had. But it's just like he's hooping, man. There's a lot of underrated players, and there's some players that just should not be on this list.
All I know is Austin Reeves is better than Zach LaVine, so. Clearly.
I have no problem with Austin Reeves being on the list.
No, not at all.
For the
No.
record,
Yeah, I don't
yes.
mind him being on the list.
72 though, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Maybe
this-
in the 80s or 90s.
It's crazy, man. You know my answer. Put Tobias in the list.
The real
Why isn't he there?
K77. This list just seems so random. It does, man.
It
Like
is.
somebody just
grabbing names.
put it into a lottery and just. That looks about right.
It's an AI generated list.
It probably is AI generated.
That was my next point. AI generated.
Oh man, and you know what? For me personally, though, ultimately with the culture, with the coaching, we talk about JB Bickerstaff and his staff wanting to be here, the singular voice of power and reason from Trajan Langdon, and everything working more synonymous. You look at the players, man. They took a step in the right direction. I know yesterday the media was waiting for the players to be ready, and they were like, "Hey, bro, they're still in the weight room."
Mm-hmm.
Omari St. Cole for the free press was like, I gotta bounce. It just got too long. These guys are working. They want to get better. And one other thing, as we continue to assess this team through training camp and preseason, when you hear stuff about the conditioning, you're gonna see their play probably widely swing, especially at the start of the season, because they're going all out in ways that during the regular season, that type of conditioning starts to turn down. So I'm glad to know that this season, these players are noticing a remarkable difference over what JB Bickerstaff is putting them through to get prepared for this season versus what they have had in the past. And you got a Malik Beasley who's come from multiple winning organizations to be able to state, you know what, Pistons are doing it right this time. Makes me a little bit more optimistic. If we get those 2 or 3 top 100 players, I'm a little bit more bullish. I'm taking it over when you're talking about the 28.5 wins for the Detroit Pistons. Really quick, taking that over. I think everybody in this room is taking over, huh?
I am.
Yeah.
I know I was burned
definitely.
last year, but I'm letting myself potentially get hurt again because I've seen enough, even just with JB Bickerstaff being there versus Monty Williams and the talent in terms of veterans as well.
Hey, Rod Beard, you taking that over, right?
If we're using actual U.S. tender, I will take the under. If we're just out here talking to be talking, I will take the over. I think it is somewhere in the 27, 28 range. I'm sticking with the number I had.
Hey, let's rock. Let's rock. Any last words?
No, man, this is just a really good time. We're starting to get basketball, college basketball starting up.
Oh, yeah.
Pistons are starting up. Thankfully, one of these sports ended because as a sports editor, you just got all of the stuff you got to pay attention to. Tigers had a really good season. This fan base is energized, and this city is energized on just what the sports teams are doing right now. We were just talking about a year or two ago. It's been a decade since anybody's been in the playoffs, and now look at where we are. So things can change, and the fan base deserves this.
Hey, they definitely do. They definitely. What up, though, JB Smooth?
I just got one quick question for Rod. Shout out to Denver Blair in the chat for throwing this out there. Since seeing that list right now, we only got 50 through 100. Where do you think Bronny James is going to fit on that list?
Whose list is this? ESPN?
Yeah.
Yep.
17.
17.
17.
I believe it.
Jeez.
Let's go. Hey, you know what? Bronny James. Goodness gracious. What a story, bro. Yeah. What a story. But Rod Beard, as always, thank you for the time. A couple segments, a little overtime today. Talk about these Pistons.
Yeah,
and like you said, man, we finally got basketball to talk about, and I'm excited about it. Tonight, Pistons play the Cavaliers at 7 at Little Caesars Arena. If you're going to be down there, hey, say what up, though. Maybe we'll get some content or something. But thank you, Rod Beard, sports editor-in-chief at the Detroit News. Thank you, as always, brother. Have a blessed day.
Thank you,
All
Rod.
right, guys. Have a good show. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Rod.
Hey, and I got to tell you guys about something else that's pretty good and here to protect you. Now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss Insurance, to make sure that you're...